the ball. I'm fine. I'm okay. Ow, man! Wake up, Smithy. Holy hell, son, you're about as useful as a flavored lollipop. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What?
Any other questions?
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. So I'm going to show you a video right now, and if you are a Patriot, you will recognize it instantly. The most iconic entrance to any event ever in American history. You know what's going down right here. If you know, of course you know. You're going to say, oh yeah. This I remember. This the entire world remembers. It is the most iconic entrance for anybody in politics ever in American history. I mean, you can't argue that. Has Hillary Clinton had anything this cool? Barack Obama, who's considered like a big-time president? Kennedy? No, nobody. Trump broke the wheel, ladies and gentlemen, with his entrance at the RNC convention in the year 2016. The month was July. The RNC convention was in Cleveland, Ohio, back when Cleveland, Ohio was in a swing state. Ohio is now a hard red state, which is super awesome. But the reason I'm showing this to you is that you can have really epic, legendary moments at the convention, moments that really stick with us. These conventions don't have to be forgettable, and with Donald Trump, they're anything but. The reason I bring this up is because there's some big news that is being made about the GOP convention. And we're very excited to be at the GOP convention. We're going to bring our entire show there. We're going to be reporting there. We've got a ton of stuff planned. But a massive piece of news just dropped about what's going to be happening at the convention, and it includes this guy right here. It includes what Donald Trump said on a radio show called the Clay and Buck Show during an interview a couple of minutes ago. This clip dropped, and it is, it is definitely making a lot of news. Donald Trump was asked about his vice presidential selection on the Clay and Buck Show, right? And they were sort of like pushing Tim Scott, J.D. Vance. They were obviously pushing certain names to sort of get Donald Trump to leak a name out. Donald Trump's probably getting tired of these questions. Nobody ever says anything. But Donald Trump did say something really newsworthy, which is that he's going to make this decision at the convention, which would be really epic. Could you imagine Donald Trump walking out to this with his VP selection? And then you see who's going to be the vice president standing next to him in this scenario. Okay, let's listen to what the president has to say.
The great guy, Lee Zeldin. A lot of speculation right now, Mr. President, about who your VP might be. Now, if you want to tell us who it is now, we're not going to stop you. But if you just maybe want to give us a top three,
Well, I won't do three, but I will say we have a lot of good people. And, Lee will definitely be somewhere in here in terms of the administration. He's great. He's a great lawyer, too. He's actually he was fantastic on the impeachment hoax when he was a congressman. And he'll be coming with me in some form anyway at a high level.
But Tim Scott in play, really J.D. Vance in play. These are all names, names that are being talked about?
Sort of like a lot of people are in play. And I'm really a believer that you do it during the convention. You really do it during the convention.
Hold on. The clip goes on, but that's news. There's the news. That's the news. You do it at the convention. It didn't happen last time. Mike Pence was picked in June. It was months before the convention. Months, like 2 months. Do it at the convention, says Donald Trump. Wow. Well, that will be rowdy and very interesting. It could attract a much larger set of eyeballs because a lot of people watch the convention. Convention is a very newsworthy thing. Let's listen.
I'm also, unfortunately, a believer that historically VPs, I don't think ever have helped. I think they can hurt a little bit, but they haven't helped. It's you have one exciting day and then you're back to the president is running, but you need somebody that can be good just in case. That horrible just in case. Look, that's a big situation. You have to go with it, but just in case, and you need somebody that can ideally help you get the votes. But I will say the single most important ingredient is, will that person be a great president? That's a very important thing.
Really, really fascinating commentary there from Donald Trump on who will be VP. Donald Trump posted our tweet about, is the VP pick on stage? So Donald Trump posting about his VP pick, a bunch of senators, a bunch of members of Congress on here, and a bunch of people who everyone says are the favorites. Vivek's on stage, J.D. Vance is on stage, Tim Scott's on stage. They are listed as the potential favorites for being the vice president. Donald Trump was asked who his vice president is a couple of days ago in court.
My favorite for what? Vice president. Oh, who's my favorite for vice president? Well, I'll be making that determination sometime prior to the convention.
Sometime prior to the convention, Donald Trump, once again, sort of telegraphing here what he's going to do. My prediction, Trump's going to walk on stage with these lights behind him in this scenario, and he's going to have the vice president with him. This is going to be the reveal of the ticket. That's my suggestion. Put a pin in it. I think that's what's going to happen. How epic would that be? Donald Trump has made surprise entrances with people. This was Mar-a-Lago a couple of weeks ago. Vivek Ramaswamy and his wife Apoorva with Melania. One of the first times Melania sort of stepped onto the campaign trail was right here. And Melania there with Apoorva and Vivek. This was a surprise welcome. Vivek Ramaswamy today at the courthouse. They're standing behind Trump. You see Trump up here blown out in the foreground. And you see Vivek back here, Speaker of the House, obviously, Doug Burgum behind him. Byron Donalds, Corey Mills. Good little selection there. And Eric Trump and Laura Trump, of course, in the background. Vivek Ramaswamy told us that, hey, he's ready to do whatever it takes. He's ready to do whatever it takes. But then also recently said on a podcast this week with PBD that it's his obligation to become vice president.
Who cares about this country, who's aligned with his vision in the Republican Party today, if they're asked to be vice president, is going to say yes and has a responsibility to say yes. And so I think that goes without saying.
That goes without saying, Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, who is going to become VP? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of, I get a lot of hate for this, but based on reporting, the final four is Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, Doug Burgum, and J.D. Vance. Now, J.D. Vance was at the court with Donald Trump yesterday. Did a great press conference. I see a lot of value in Marco Rubio for this position, but what do I know, right? I'm just saying based on that reporting, that's all I'm saying, okay? Based on that reporting, if that reporting is true, then would it be Marco Rubio? A lot of people are writing this up, that Trump is saying Marco Rubio. The reason why I have reinforced this idea is that Donald Trump is about to win the Latino vote, which nobody's ever seen. Marco Rubio speaks fluent Spanish. 2, Marco Rubio has worked really well with Donald Trump. And 3, Donald Trump met with Ron DeSantis. What's that about? Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida. He'd replace Marco Rubio in the Senate. He'd get a pick. He'd be able to pick Marco Rubio's replacement in the Senate. Finally, Donald Trump has regularly gone on TV and said it's going to be somebody you know. It's going to be somebody everyone's familiar with. It's not going to be some like crazy pick. It's going to be somebody that everyone is familiar with, that they know them. It's going to be somebody you know. You won't be too surprised, Trump said. Well, is that Doug Burgum? Nobody knows who Doug Burgum is. And I don't think a lot of people know who J.D. Vance is. I mean, a lot of people know Marco Rubio. He's a known political entity. Marco Rubio has been in office and been running for office longer than Donald Trump. That's for sure. So is this going to be the selection? I don't know. I don't know. Trump's also floated Ron DeSantis, right? Vivek, Tulsi Gabbard saying she's going to be VP. Again, it all spins around Trump, and Trump saying he's going to be in Milwaukee during the convention is when I'm going to make this announcement. And we think that's awesome. He'll be able to do it. He'll be able to do it with the eyes of the world on him. And it'll be, it'll be hopefully one hell of a show. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. As ever, We did a recent poll and published a recent poll for 4 people that everybody really likes in our audience: Vivek Ramaswamy, Byron Donalds, Tulsi Gabbard. These were the results of that poll. Vivek winning by plurality, right? You get 31,000 votes here. And this is sort of the breakdown that we regularly see. Tulsi Gabbard coming in number 2 here. Everybody else here between 20 and 10%. Vivek doing 53%. This is what we see. So is it going to be Vivek walking out on that stage with that giant white light behind him? Here's hoping. That would just kick so much ass. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We will certainly be covering the TikTok of this moment. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.